All right, guys, welcome back. Turn 18. Okay, it looks like our opponent has surrendered. Before we look at the stats, because sometimes in the past I've gone to the scoreboard and then it doesn't let me return to the map, and it's really annoying because I'd like to. One, the turn would be way too short to even like bother publishing, but two, I'd like to kind of like summarize the game. So let's return to the map first. Hopefully it will let me view the scoreboard. Good lord. But anyway, summary of this game, in terms of our movement, we did kind of a nice classic expansion this way. I think this was kind of interesting. Putting the fort back here and then finding we were blocked off. This was kind of interesting. I've never done this before, I think. Seeing how, like, I wanted to do a city here, but then we realized, oh, we have a neighbor, so this is going to grow out eventually and constrain a new city. So I said, okay, let's get a fort here temporarily. We'll remove the fort once this grows out. Kind of an interesting idea. Scoundrels rush, of course, but then we're doing a lot of economy. This is an expansion. That's a fort, but we have a settler going there, so another expansion. A lot of expansion. Kind of weighing out, and I'm still not sure what the right answer is, guys. This game I was thinking, okay, we're just gonna go really heavy on the expansion, but at the same time I was saying, maybe it pays more to focus more military earlier, and then now you have multiple armies running around and you're expanding more that way. I don't know the answer. And then, of course, to talk about this, it did take some time. Turn 17 is when we, actually no, that's wrong. Turn 16 is when we captured his city. We had that double berry play, so he actually spotted our crow here, but for whatever reason he wasn't able to eliminate it. And then we saw the berries here. Boom, more berries. So it's a double berry play. Kind of a rare, lucky thing that happened. And then we, captured, and we had Scorched Earth primed and ready, so we just threw it on. And at that point, there's no way for him to save this city. And then the surrender. Just to talk a little bit about this, it's not the first time. I mean, obviously, I run this strategy for a reason. It is a very cheesy, very powerful early game strategy, although it does the knowledge cost to get the Scorched Earth in is kind of hefty, and it is kind of a sacrifice. As long as your opponent defends the city, or if the play does not work out, the Scorched Earth is kind of doing nothing for you when you could have put all that knowledge into something else. So that's one thing to say. But yeah, it is a kind of a common occurrence. I've won a lot of games this way. A lot of players don't defend and whatnot. They're not ready for it. So then, it kind of begs the question, what is the counterplay to this? How do you play against this? And my answer, or my opinion, is I think you have a couple options. One option is to get your own scout out. So what is he playing this game? He's playing the Sorcerer. Well, guess what? The Wisps. So the Wisp is the Sorcerer's early game scout, early game summon. Wisp versus Crow, the Wisp is going to win that every time. Virtually every time. Unless you have you always have to factor in combat spells. The Rogue does have Rain of Poison Blades, and the Wisp has a weakness to that blight damage. But aside from that, the Wisp will always win versus the Crow with the static shield, chance to stun in melee. Anyways, what I was getting at is, what I'm saying is, you can counter the enemy scout with your own scout. Even if, say, he had something that wouldn't have won, like, I don't know, maybe a cherub, or some other scout that maybe is not so effective against the Crow. Even still, the way I like to do it is, I'm always going to get my scout out. I'm always going to push the scout out as soon as possible and send it across the map in search of my opponent's thrown city. What that does is it's acting as a buffer your scout is acting as a buffer to the enemy scout. So you need to like keep a buffer around your city. I like to do it that way because I think it's cheaper. What's the alternative? The alternative is you need to either leave some military behind, so maybe like leaving a couple units behind to defend, or you have to produce new units, some new military to defend. That's more expensive, in my opinion, than just doing a scout. Scout is just mana and CP. So those are your two options as counterplay. You have to, be aware. You have a buffer to prevent this, or have your city defended. And then, if you had defenders here, this would not have worked, obviously. And then it's kind of wasted. It's kind of like I got a crow here. Okay, great. I had Scorched Earth primed. Well, we have to abort that now. So that's a waste. Waste of time, waste of everything. Waste of knowledge. So, anyways, guys, that's how I would handle it. Let's see if we can return to map. I don't know if we can pull up the scoreboard. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to exit here, but I'm going to kind of conclude the video, and then the scoreboard will be like, if it pops up, bonus. If not, then so be it. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you learned something in this game, and I will catch you in the next game.